Hello everyone, this is Jason for Primetime Aquatics, and in this video I am super excited to bring you some fish that are absolutely awesome. How many of you have ever walked by a fish tank and just stopped dead in your tracks and were mesmerized by a fish in that tank? That happened to me recently at the GCCA. They had their all species bull show. This was kind of like the all-star of bull shows, where each member was allowed to bring in just one fish, their absolute best fish, it had to be a cichlid, and show it off. And in that bull show, there were a lot of really awesome fish, but one in particular absolutely caught my eye, and I've added that fish to my bucket list of must-haves. I hope you enjoy the video, so stay tuned. So this was actually the GCCA All Species Bull Show. It was the All-Star. This fish here actually won second place in the judging contest. It's a really nice fish. One of the interesting things that we do in our bull shows is the people who show the fish are allowed to bring in lights. They can bring in substrate, they can color the backs of the tanks, and the idea here in our club is we really want these fish to feel as comfortable as they possibly can and show off the best possible color, really get the best out of the fish. And that doesn't always happen if you've got an unlit tank or the tank is see-through where you can see it on all, see through all sides. Sometimes, as we've talked about in the past, substrate color makes a big difference. So we do allow that. This is the fish that actually won the overall contest, this Maskaheros. It was an absolutely beautiful fish. The bubbles on the glass really kind of take away from how nice this fish looked in person. Understand when these bull shows happen that the judges are judging these fish based on their specific species. So in terms of size and coloration and temperament and those kinds of features. So they're not really compared to one another, they're compared against their own species and their own kind. This Venustus was awesome. This fish was really, really great. And I'm curious to hear from you in the comments section below. Do you have a favorite fish? Which one, if you had to pick one to take home or breed, which one would it be? But there were so many cool fish. Again, it was like the all-star game of the bull show for the year. But this is a great looking peacock. It had been in one of the earlier bull shows in the year, and I just love the color. The temperament was fantastic. Look at those fins. And it really showed off really, really well. And the cool thing is, as we go through this show, in my opinion, the fish just get cooler and cooler. And they're just absolutely amazing. And it's one of the cool things I know nowadays, I can show you these fish on the internet, but it's different. It's different when you see them in person, when you can see their temperament. And in my opinion, cameras don't often pick up the true color of the fish. And we're seeing that kind of here. Even the types of lights that are on these tanks will really have a big impact on what we're seeing in terms of the fish. This is a really awesome fish. I love this Dicrossus. By the way, I did a fish room tour of Mario's fish room. This is his fish. If you want to see more just like this, check out the description below. Also, the fish that won the overall, that Maskaheros, I did a full fish room tour of Jason's fish room. Another fantastic fish room with a lot of really cool fish. Definitely worth checking them out if you like the fish that you're seeing here. But this was a great fish, and it was about maybe 4 inches or so. And what was cool is you get these fish in the tanks, and sometimes they kind of just sulk and they get angry and they kind of just hang out. But this one was full of energy after it got used to the surroundings, and it was really actually quite fun to watch. It was exploring the tank the whole time. But again, something like this that stays on the smaller side when people are looking for cichlids that can maybe go in, maybe a pair and a 20 long, or certainly like a 40 breeder, to get something like this in a planted tank. It's really awesome. And a lot of these fish that you see, they come through sometimes in our rare fish auctions, which can be really exciting, and then they breed and they start spreading around the clubs, which is pretty awesome. Now this next fish was the fish that absolutely stopped me in my tracks. And this is the fish that's coming up is one of Tim's fish. We did a fish room tour of his fish room. I'm going to put that in the description below. Maskaheros argenteus. I've never seen one of these in real life, and it was absolutely stunning. And Tim really knew how to show it off. It was kind of a surprise. He had a towel over the tank the entire time until it was ready to show. And when he pulled that towel off, this fish by far had the biggest crowd around it, and people just wanted to see it. And it was the camera. I know I say this all the time, but especially with this particular species, the camera doesn't even come close to showing off this fish was like a jewel. It was a big 8 or 9 inch jewel inside of this 10-inch tank, or 10-gallon tank, and absolutely fantastic. It knew it was a showstopper, just the way it kind of carried itself. The fins were always erect, and look at the fins. I mean, it's one thing to have a cool looking fish, maybe something a little bit different, but to have it in this kind of condition, it was absolutely phenomenal. It is absolutely a fish that I want to add to my fish room at some point, even if it's just one. From what I understand, they get a little bit larger. This won People's Choice. It didn't win the overall. I think only because it was slightly undersized for its species, but absolutely amazing fish. Definitely something I would love to add to the fish room at some point. Hopefully Tim can get a group of these going, but definitely check out the fish room tours in the description below if you want to see more. So that was the All Species Bull Show at the GCCA. If you enjoyed this video, share, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.